Well, welcome to Lyme Regis Fossils on YouTube. Look at this wonderful find I've had in the winter. I've split that open in the correct vein, and I've found pieces like this Arnioceros bodlei and U. agassiceros that are in the Foster collection. That's in Cardiff Museum. So some of my fossil finds end up in museums. This one's wonderfully split, and you can see those lovely natural ammonites there.
Well, it's that odd time of year again between Christmas and New Year, and I'm going fossil collecting along the Jurassic coast. There's a really good sea roaring in today, and I'll go and show you down near my rucksack a really nice chunk of an ammonite that I've just found. You can just see nestled in amongst the rocks there, quite a nice big chunk of an ammonite. Have to remove all the rocks to be able to edge it out, I think. Ah, look at that, that's not bad at all. Looks like part of an Erotites ammonite. So look at my little chunk of Erotites ammonite, and then look at the size of this impression of an ammonite on the beach. Really much bigger. Look at that big sea blasting in there.
Well, it's lucky I've brought some light, spare clothes with me, because that big sea splashed into some rocks and that hit me. Look at the damage the sea does to those ammonites on the beach. It's lovely to leave them there for other people to see. Those ones are eroding away.
Shells here, often mistaken for ammonites, called Rochelaria. And just over here too, in the green sand material, some fossil shells in quite a big chunk. Can see if I can get that out to see the whole piece. Eroding away on the beach. That's quite nice, that side. Nice to have a look at.
The beautiful Pinhay Bay with all those lovely layers there of marine sediment.
There's always a lot of rocks to look around in at low tide in Pinhay Bay if you gauge it right, and there's a Nautilus you can see protruding out of that rock. Let's see on the other side. Very well waterborne, that one.
Well, I found a 65 centimetre across ammonite in this area, and now I've found this large bed of ammonites. The 65 centimetre ammonite went to the Cardiff Museum, but look at this rock split now as I open it up. All those lovely creamy coloured ammonites from the Jurassic Age. What an amazing sight it is to see the first time they've seen the light of day in all those millions of years, those ammonites revealed. And I'll try preparing a piece of the Arnioceros bodlei ammonites later on. There's a few offcuts to this block.
Some people ask me why I don't get really excited over my fossil finds sometimes. Well, when you're out here night and day looking for the fossils, it really takes its toll on you, but look at that. I'm really happy with that. Wow. There's some more of the material, really compacted with the ammonites. Well, the weather may have turned really bad and I had to have a change of clothes because I got wet with a big wave, but look at the fossils coming out today. Nice U. agassiceros. And I'm going to take that whole chunk back there because that one there has got a really nice ammonite there protruding out, worth repairing. The other side's got quite a hollow one in. And then this bit here I split. And on splitting it, you can see that side's got a lovely impression. God, it's turned really black as night here. Look at that one there. No need for preparation. Let's get that on too, so you can see the center of that. That's if you can see it, how dark it is turned. Whoa, here we go. There's the sea. A lot of the beach is exposed now at low tide for me to have a look on and see what fossils are washing out on the beach area. See two ammonites up ahead here. There's always nice big ammonites to look at along the Jurassic coast. There is a fossil collecting code of conduct in operation along the Jurassic coast, so you must leave those bigger ammonites for everyone to see. They will erode away anyway, but it's nice to leave those prehistoric ancient marine creatures for all the public to have a look at low tide. Keep away from the dangerous cliffs. Look at those blocks hurling down. Well, here I am around in Pinay Bay, and you can still hear that roaring sea behind me. And that sea will come up and wash this mudslide and probably bring a few fossils out onto the beach from it. But I always say, stay away from the dangerous cliffs. They're liable to fall suddenly and without warning. And you can see the height at which that mud is slamming down onto the beach. Right up there at the very top, you can see where material's falling off that edge. And that'll do that all day long. So quite a big fall down in Pinay Bay here along the Jurassic coast. And I've had a piece as small as a pea hit me on the top of the head once, and that's as large as the piece was, and that still really hurt. Luckily I've never had anything big land on my head. The ever eroding ammonites of the Jurassic coast. I've got a footprint there for scale. The attrition of the sand and sea eroding them down constantly, and the sea chucks up all manner of oddities and some nice driftwood as well. It's been so wet here, the cliffs are really crumbling now. So very dangerous to go anywhere near them. I'm zooming in on these cliffs. Well, let us see what the sea throws up next. The sea doing the erosion of the fossils out of the mudslides onto the beaches. It's always a great place to end up after a trip to Pinay Bay, looking at the Ammonite graveyard. All these limestone blocks that are splitting apart have some lovely ammonites on the surface. Well, here's a good little find between the rocks in the iron pyrite. You can see iron pyrite down there with a pyrite ammonite. There's a little bit of fossil jaw. You can see the gnarled teeth in that jaw section, ground down by the attrition of the sand and sea. And just down there is an iron pyrite ammonite as well, all washed into these pockets on the beach, the sea doing the work for you. I'm going over to Stone Barrow Fossils workshop, and you can see this little Arneosaurus bodleoi block that I've got, and I'm going to do some air abrasive work on it with iron powder and see if I can give those ammonites a bit of relief, a bit of three-dimensional
relief in the rock and prepare the centres out with the powder and give them just a bit of preparation around the edges too. And when I've done the work on that, I shall show you what it looks like as compared to when I hammer out the ammonites, and they look quite natural with their sort of natural luster on. I think the ammonites through to the east of Lyme Regis prepare better in yellowstones and woodstones and flatstones, and calcite ammonites like Promicroceros you can really prepare around and they look good.
So do I press down on the pedal to give it more?
You want to get a bit more. If you keep going, but yes, it will get those things to come out again.
That's it now, isn't it? It's really it's odd stuff though, because that there's bits of calcite in there that it's actually not going.
Yeah. I think that's as good as it's going to be. Yeah.
Well, prepared fossils like this Yellowstone bed I picked out with a hammer and pin, or unprepared fossils as in the rocks that you just tap with a hammer and they split naturally open. Which is your verdict on which is the best? I think the naturally prepared ones, just tapping them open with a hammer, and if they come out really perfect, it's sometimes just beautiful to leave them as they just popped out of the rock. I did enjoy preparing this rock with a hammer and pin. If you liked this fossil hunting little video I made along the Jurassic coast at low tide, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe for other awesome fossil collecting videos that we'll make in the near future.